Hello and welcome back to 12 Days of Anime Day 6. Now today we're going to talk about something very different from what I've been talking about for the past 5 days. In fact, today we're going to talk about video games because, I've played quite a few video games over 2019, and let's just say that there are a few that stand out definitely, like we have Plague Tale, which is a fantastic narrative, but there's one other game that really stood out to me even more, and that is Fire Emblem Three Houses. And this was the first Fire Emblem game that I've played throughout the franchise. Like, I haven't played any of the other games that they've made, so I don't really know how it fares against the other ones. But going in blindly to Three Houses, having not played the other ones, I can say that this game was really something else. Like, it was really good. Like, the strategic gameplay was quite nice. I'm not sure how it, again, I don't know how it fares against the other games, but as a standalone game, it really was a fresh experience this year as opposed to the other games that I've been playing. And quite frankly, just the story in general and just how all of the other elements of the game plays, it was a really enjoyable experience to me. Like, I haven't really played a game like Fire Emblem before, I'll be honest with you. Like, I have played games that use this strategic sort of gameplay, but I haven't had a second part of the gameplay which touches upon the whole social aspect of the game, where you get to interact with a lot of characters, you get to know them, you get to see their backgrounds, you get to see what they're interested in, and you get to strengthen your bond with them. And that is an element of the game that really stood out to me, and I can see why a lot of people like Fire Emblem, having played this whole game. Now, I've only played one route of the game, which was the Golden Deer, which in my opinion was a really good route, though I don't really know how it fares against the other routes that exist in the game. Like, I haven't played the other houses yet. I only really played the one house, and I might go back to play the other ones eventually, but right now I only played the one, and I really liked where the story was heading after playing the game. Having a strategic game where you even get to wife someone, you get to marry someone, you get to strengthen your bond with them, you get to really get to know them to a degree you don't really want to get to know the other characters. You just focus in on the one character that you want to pipe, essentially. And honestly, as we can all agree, that was definitely Bernadetta. I've always liked the idea of sort of preying on the weak and the fragile, the insecure young girl. That sounds really wrong actually, but you know what I'm trying to say. Basically, I'm just going for the ones that are an easy target in a game, not in real life, I promise. Just in a game, just in video games, possibly in anime. Now, there's one part of the game where I've heard a lot of people had an issue with, which was the whole lost items part of the game, where you can find a lot of items around the map, around the monastery, and you have to give them to the appropriate person and you'll get some affection with that character. I understand the reason behind this mechanic, though I can probably agree that it would have been a better way to handle that part of the game, because I guess the main point of the game is to get to know each character, get to learn what their interests are and all that stuff, getting to understand the character's background, what they want and all kinds of stuff. But having the lost item mechanic didn't really, to 100% at least, help with that. To a degree, I just sort of guessed which character was gonna get this until I got it right, because I just couldn't be bothered to read through every single character, you know what I mean? Especially since you're not really capable of reading every single character's interests unless you get a certain amount of affection for them, as far as I could tell. So I think it could have been done better, I will be honest, but that's just sort of a side part of the game. Like, it doesn't really make the game any worse, if we're being honest here, because at the end of the day, it didn't really affect the story, it doesn't affect the actual action part of the game, the strategic part of the game. It doesn't really take away anything from the whole social aspect either, because at the end of the day, you don't really need to rely on the lost items mechanic to have a good experience when you're in the monastery talking to all kinds of people and getting to know them. It's just a way to increase your affection with them a lot quicker. Though I imagine it's a very easy way, or possibly even a crucial way, to get to know everyone enough that you would want to recruit them. But if you're not going to recruit literally everyone, then it's probably not that big of a deal. And it certainly wasn't for me. Like, I didn't recruit that many people. I think I only recruited one. I really didn't focus on the whole recruiting aspect of the game. I mostly just wanted to have a good time, getting to learn the whole Fire Emblem feeling, that I'm sure a lot of people already had because they probably played all the other games. But me not having played any of the other games, I just wanted to get the feel for the game, and I certainly did, even without having to recruit literally every single person that weren't part of my house already. Anyway, I'm gonna leave it at that. I just wanted to give my quick thoughts on the Fire Emblem game, or rather my experience having played my first Fire Emblem game, and I really liked it. I probably will play the next one whenever it comes out. It's probably gonna be a while, let's be honest, because yeah, I mean, this one just came out this year, of course. So anyway, let me know what you think down below about Fire Emblem, if you've played it. If you haven't played it, I really suggest you do, especially if you have a Nintendo Switch or some kind of emulator where you can play it, because you are missing out on Fire Emblem Three Houses. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, even if you don't like strategy games, like, that's not even the full game. It's barely even half of the game. It's like a small portion compared to everything else. It's more about getting to know characters and getting to witness them grow, both in terms of what they're capable of, but also in some cases even as people. Like, you get to see a lot of backgrounds that are really interesting and stuff. But yeah, anyway, let me know what you think down below in the comments, as I said. And as always, if you did, be sure to smash that like button if you enjoyed, and subscribe if you haven't done so already. This has been Chaotic Plus, and remember, Toga is waifu, Toga is life.